The Volantex Ranger 2000 is here. I've been waiting on that. It's a plane. Yeah. It's a glider. Yeah, it's all styrofoam. All right, thank you. Snow's coming down. Supposed to get, she said 2 inches a minute. I don't think that's right. Oh, there's another package.
Yeah, you got 2.
FPV.
Well, you can't unlock the door with
I'm going to stay out here. I want to open it. Okay, almost got it open here. Let's just have a look inside. I'm wondering if this has another box in it. If I got the old designer box, or whether it's just a single box. Okay, let's find out. Oh, yeah. What was that sound? Oh, my word. Look what happened. That was quick.
This is Me RC.
Okay, that was quite an interesting weather event, but let's continue on and look at the parts in detail that's in the box for the Ranger 2000. Now, this says Volantex right on the box, and this came from HobbyKing. It didn't say Volantex on their site, but I believe it to be the same as the Volantex, but I don't know. Let's take a close look at it and see what we have. Okay, let's start by just getting the parts out of the box, and I'll lay them on the bench and then we'll go over them. Well, the first thing I noticed, it came with a very nice set of decals. FPV and Ranger 2000 right there. Very pretty. Also came with a very nice instruction manual. And the first thing I went for was, of course, the CG right here. And that's listed, so I'm already feeling more confident. Next, I just had to look at the fuselage. And it's a beauty. It's made out of this sort of rubbery plastic. So I think it's going to be quite resilient. I can really press on it. It's very strong. The only downside is there's no holes to access any part of the fuselage down here if you wanted to put in wiring. Fortunately, it is already wired, but if you wanted to change a servo, it might be a little finagling. Now, I think maybe to access the rear to get in an FPV long-range antenna, I might be able to take out these servos and get in through these holes. So that might be possible. The motor on it looks very similar to a Sunny Sky. I was going to put a Sunny Sky on it, and I probably still will. This is a 1400 kV, and I'm going to be going with a 1250 and a 4-cell battery. But I think it would fly quite well with the motor that's on there, probably with a 3-cell. Okay, next thing I ran into was getting the canopy off. And it wasn't magnetic, I couldn't get it off. So I looked in the instruction manual, and they provide a nice diagram here, and I could see that there was like 4 pins that went in holes around the perimeter. So I think what we have to do is pry up on it like this, pry up on the sides, and just try to get all 4 pins out of the holes. And the other thing is, I was wondering where the FPV canopy was, because that was listed in the instructions but not in the box. And behold, there it is. It was underneath this. And now you can see the 4 pins. Right there's one right there, 2 more up there. Now this comes off a little more logically. There's a latch right here that I can see. So just push that forward and that comes right out. So that's nice. And it has a little hole here for a pan servo if you want to put a small pan servo on. And it does seem like the camera is kind of far back here. But there's also, of course, a hole here for a camera. So I'm not sure which way you'd want to go. Maybe this could be the HD camera and this could be the flight camera, or vice versa. You might put the HD camera up here and the flight camera down there. I don't know. Okay, looking from the nose down inside the fuselage, you can see the battery tray, and then the tray here that probably could be for the flight controller. Now, I was wondering how these came out, and I discovered there's actually screws right along here on the fuselage that you take out to remove the tray. Same with the battery tray right here. Now I don't know if you can see it, but the ESC is right down in there. Everything is already pre-wired. Here's all the wires right here. XT60 here. This is where the battery would plug in. And then we have channels 2, 3, and 4. And then there's one here that isn't labeled, but it has the typical ferrite donut on it. So that must be the ESC right there. So that's the throttle. And then we probably have aileron elevator rudder. I would assume something like that. Now you can see on the side here there are actually 2 connections for the ailerons, and you can see there's a channel 2 right on there, so that verifies that channel 2 is the ailerons. So 2 of them, but what's confusing me is where are the flaps? No connection for the flaps, and the wings do have flaps pre-installed as far as I can tell. Now this is a 2-meter glider, so the wings are almost a meter or close to 3 feet long. Here's the wiring coming out right here, and you can see there's pre-installed a flap servo and an aileron servo up there. So both of them there, but I noticed that the flaps, they're not really ready to roll just yet. I think you'd have to cut out some sections, so the flaps are optional even though the servo is provided. So it looks like I would have to run another splitter cable to get the flaps going, so I can connect these two to a splitter cable and then have one more channel on the radio used up, channel 5 or whatever. The ailerons are already pre-hinged right here with some nice plastic hinges. It's already sparred, which is nice. The flaps are not sparred, but they probably don't really need it. And here's where the attachments are done right here with the spars. I haven't opened them up. They're in this bag right here. Now these are supposed to be aluminum, I think. They're, as far as I know, there's some kind of non-ferrous material because magnets don't even stick to them. And these are very powerful magnets I have here. And they don't react to this metal at all. So they probably are some kind of aircraft aluminum. They seem pretty sturdy. I guess if somebody wanted to strengthen them up, you could drive a wood dowel down in the middle to keep them from crimping if they did bend, but they're short lengths and chances are the wings would break before they did. They seem pretty strong. So you push the wings into the socket, you know, onto the spars first, then you slide them into the socket, and this clip holds it in place. And then when you want to take the wings out, you just press that down, pull the wings out. So that's a nice feature. Now here's the vertical and horizontal stabilizers with the control surfaces installed. Again, nice job. There's some nice plastic hinges on there, so you're not relying just on the foam. Same thing here on the elevator. Pre-sparred, really nice stuff here. Feels good too, feels like really strong foam. It's an interesting design because there's a couple of pins right here that accept screws. And they slide into these holes, and then you put the screws in here and here to lock the tail section together. So it really fits on there easily, and you can see where the screws would go in right there to hold it. So fairly easy to do, and you can see where the control horn goes on right here. And it looks like one that has 4 screws and a plate, so that looks very substantial. I like it. Now it also came with one of these nuts right here for the prop. That was loose in the box. I just found it, but it's nice that they provided that. And then there's the bag of parts. It actually came with a nice little screwdriver here. I think I used nice about 100 times in this video. How about a handy screwdriver? Yeah, that's what we'll say. A handy screwdriver. Now, here's the prop. This is an 8x4 prop. Seems pretty strong. I wouldn't say it's as strong as an APC, but it seems pretty good to me. 8x4. Look at that. They actually provided the splitter cable in case you want to add those flaps. Here's the servo horns right here, a bag of them. And then you have the control rods with clevises already on the end, and the Z-bends. So they've thought of about everything with this. Here's some screws. We know we need the screws to hold everything together. And here are those control horns with plates. You can see little square plates right there and the screws to fasten them together. So that is, yeah, they seem strong. Yeah, not bad. So that's great that they provided that. This is one of the best kits I've seen as far as providing all the hardware, good quality hardware. Not bad at all. So in the next video, I'll be figuring out how to get the flight controller, long range system, and FPV gear in here, get it all laid out, and then eventually we will put all of the tail pieces and wings on it and try it out. But the next video is going to be about FPV, and maybe the one after it too. So that was my quick box opening and parts overview, and we'll see you next time for the Volantex Ranger 2000 FPV build series. Look at this tree that fell down. It's right in the road right here. This snowstorm was so heavy on the trees with the wet snow. Looks like it even pulled the root ball right out of the ground.